All right, here we go. Should be live now. Just gonna ping in the channel once and let everyone join. I'll check as well. Fully, I'll just stream live now. I hope. Just 1 second, guys. I'll check if I'm live, if everything is good. Yeah, should be live now. Okay, cool. I'm gonna wait for some time for everyone to join and then we'll start. This is our whatever you want to call it. I'll just pop it up and so that we can see the chat here. Let me go back. Opacity, opacity. Okay, let's bring it up. This should be fine for now. Yep, should be fine. I'm gonna let people join. I'm gonna give it 1 to 2 more minutes. Hello. Hi, Buggy. What's up? Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you here. How are you doing? I went for a run today in the evening. Could only do, guess, 2K or something. Felt very tired. Like, I think this getting back to running is also not something I'm very used to. So just slowly starting up again. I did couple of 5Ks last week, but the pace was slightly on a lower end. Strava Paglu. No, I don't generally post my anything that is generally less than 5K. I don't post it on Strava. Although, like when I'm like running just before gym, I'll do it. But if I'm not happy with my pace or something, I just generally avoid because yeah, I don't feel good sharing it. You don't know me. What's up? Hello. Damn, you guys all are moderators here. There's no, what do you call it? Like no common guy. कोई आम आदमी नहीं है. Okay, that's a not so political statement to make. There's no aam aadmi here, huh? That would actually make a good one-liner. Mood on stream. Let's go. Yeah. So I have been reading about whatever I wanted to talk about today. Meow, what's up? Oh, finally someone from I mean who is not a moderator. Yes. Just 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second, now. Hello. हाँ हाँ नहीं नहीं हाँ मैं भी भैया बैंगलोर में ही हूँ इसलिए मुझे लगा ठीक है थैंक यू भैया ना हाँ कोई बात नहीं भैया ध्यान रखिएगा थैंक यू ओके सॉरी Yeah, I mean, so there was a guy, no, Madam ji ka call nahi aaya actually. It's a very cool thing. So what happened was like someone transferred some money by mistake to my fiance. So she told me like, it was a mistake. So why don't you just go and talk to him once? Uh, so I talked to him and he said like he was from Canada, I mean Karnataka, so he didn't know English. So, and of course, like, so I didn't know Canada as well. So I just asked him, like, you sent to the wrong number. And he said, like, I'm sorry. He was sending to a shopkeeper or someone. So, like, my fiance sent him back and he just called to say, like, oh, yeah, you don't know I got engaged, Rocafied. Yeah. Let me see if I can ask her to join the stream, at least in the chat. That would be cool. You missed a decade. Yeah. Okay. When she joins, keep the chat clean, guys. Let me just ping her if she can join. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, holy shit, congratulations. Hello, hi, John Beckham. What I always said this guy was going places. I always knew. I always I mean, yeah, I mean, if getting engaged is something, going to places, yeah, it's a that's like one of the reasons I've been inconsistent with streaming. Life has happened, and so yeah, but yeah, it's good, it's good. Sorry, fake F name, first time here. Oh, thank you. No, it's all good. It's all good. Cool name though. John Bikau, like John and Bikau, they both. I was like, is it a non-Hindi name? And then I Bikaku. It's not Bikau. It's Bikaku. John Bikaku. Okay, it's not Bikau. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All good. All good. Yeah. So I mean, that Kannada guy called and said, "Ki like in this generation, there are not many people like you." I said, "Look, no, I understand. Like it's all your hard work and all. Although like that, I can't see what the you can't you can't join the stream and just call me cutie. By the way, okay." So yeah, Chavi is my fiance, guys. She is in the chat. Say hi to her. Uh, Most of the roasting that these guys do, you'll see it here. Thank you so much for joining. I don't want to turn on my camera. I don't look good. Uh, Definitely not something I would like to show. Congratulations, both. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I can't. Let me see if I can. I don't know. This I need to change the properties of my camera, but congratulations to both of you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I need to fix the camera. So let it be, guys. We'll skip the camera for now. Um, but yeah, thank you for joining, everyone. Whoever is here, I think like we can start. And Chavi, just FI, like that guy called, and he was mentioning that there are not many people like me in this generation, and he was thanking. And he said he also does this some business in Karnataka. So if I ever need help, he could help. I don't know what I would do with road business, but yeah, he does some road business. Happy for him. Anyways, yeah, credits to you for reporting. All good. Okay, we can probably start, guys. Buggy, John. John, where are you from, by the way? I love Hyperland though. Been using RTX with Hyperland for years, is it? How many years though? Like, you can post this on LinkedIn. Hashtag connections. Yeah, she'll probably do that. I mean, she can do that. I haven't really updated my LinkedIn for some time. Even after like getting promoted, I only got a chance to do it now. And that too, just minor update that okay, yeah, this happened. Ta-da! I'm the yes, but from India. Okay, okay. So you do understand a bit of Hindi if we end up speaking, right? If we end up talking in Hindi, that should be fine. Yeah, sounds good. All right. So in that case, I think we can just start. But I work remotely as an engineer, so traveling always, yeah, should be fun. Did you take the Strait of what's the name? Strait of I forgot what's the Hormuz. How do you pronounce it? Strait of Hormuz. Has anyone ever traveled via sea route though? Like, have you ever taken a sea route ever in life? This is one thing I would probably never do. Uh, I'm scared AF from taking such routes. But yeah, I mean, I'm just curious if anyone has done it before. No illegals here. Okay, yeah, I mean, oh yeah, sure, sure, sure. I'm pretty sure you'll not be deported back to India. I don't know, some people would be happy, right? They'll not be sent to jail and instead just deported back to India for being an illegal migrant. But yeah, I mean, makes sense. Of course, no illegals. Cool. While we all talk about things, right? Like, I think let me just touch upon what we are going to talk about today, and then we can resume, right? So, like, I was just one day going through this thing where you could change the opacity of active and inactive windows, right? Focused and unfocused windows is another way to say this out loud. So, as an example, if you have an inactive window, you could just do this, and what that basically means, I hope this is like quite evident on the screen that whatever the window like whichever is inactive over here, you will see that okay, the terminal has now like become slightly transparent and not opaque, right? With transparent, of course, that generally means is there's some blend happening here. Now, blend is basically a mixture of something, right? So in computer science and mathematics, blend would mean just A into X plus B into Y, right? So in general, what you say it is you multiply something, you add both, and then they're just blending together, right? So how does that really work is was something that I was giving a try, and it's a very interesting programmatic wonder. Not, I wouldn't really say it's done like only with Hyperland. Other Windows, even X11 had this thing way long before, but that's a different thing, right? I was quite curious how the animations are working. If you see there's some animation into it, yeah. So if you see like there's some smoothness into it as well. So Hyperland has done really a good job here. So how does that really work? It's something we'll be touching upon today with respect to code as well, with respect to how does it interact with Wayland, OpenGL, which is for like where does it really come into this picture, and also with respect to Hyperland as well. Yeah, I don't remember X11 with respect to X11. I remember some. I might sound very old when I say this. I remember I had a script like this. Okay, yeah, I still have it here with me. I'm just going through my. So this was a script. Let me just open it here. So this was a script I used to have with net WM window opacity was a constant that you could add, and what that would do is what it will do is when you click on a window, it will end up changing the transparency and it will make that particular window transparent. So even right now X11 Windows would end up using it, but the only difference is that Wayland will not support it, right? So if you see even over here in i3 they had support net WM window opacity, and this is how they ended up requesting for transparency, if I believe. I don't know if they ever following proposal and they ended up okay, this is for X11 Wayland as well, X Wayland, right? So loving your thought process though, by the way, thank you. Right, so just one thing about this is like with X Wayland and Wayland, right? So we I think we all understand what's the difference here, right? So Xvalent is nothing but how do X11, how do Windows applications, whatever that do not support Wayland protocol end up communicating with your window management or desktop environment through Wayland protocol, right? So what they basically do is when you define NetWM window opacity or something that only X11 supports, X variant acts like a translator, which converts everything that Wayland can understand, and that it will end up using, like being used by Wayland, right? So if you would want, like I know I'm going slightly out of track here. I'm not sure if this is the one that okay, okay. It seems like it's a clone. Um, So probably if you would go and end up looking at Xvalent as well, that's how, initial support of Steam, Counter-Strike, or any games that were not supporting Wayland by that time, because Wayland was not really stable by, like for NVIDIA GPUs and for the whole world, for multi-monitors, there were some problems as well when using NVIDIA GPUs, right? So Xvalent was basically a translator. I was trying to find some code that could help here, but this looks like an X11 code base. It's not really X11 I mean Xvalent to be honest. Yeah, this is just X server, right? And by this time, like just when we start talking, I assume that everyone is aware what is Wayland, right? Wayland is basically a protocol in how you communicate with the user as well as the window management or whatever, right? So how does Hyperland communicate with Kush, right? So Wayland comes into picture when I move my mouse. Wayland is basically sending some inputs, some events to Hyperland for it to manage how to make it work, right? Similarly, for example, when I'm typing something, Wayland is acting as a bridge between me and Hyperland over here, and that's what we will end up seeing over here, right? So this should make things very clear, right? Probably I could actually show, and like just for context, I had asked like I just made sure that I ask a lot of things to cloud code for like I think I've been studying about this for a week now, not really 24 hours a day, probably 30 minutes, 15 minutes a day or something, right? And that's where I come in. So just Wayland has a probably like let me just see if Wayland commit is something that we could. So Wayland has a commit. command or something protocol that it ends up having. So we could just refer to that as well and how they do it. Um, okay, no, that's okay. We could just search for Wayland as well, right? And you would end up seeing like a lot of things, right? So as an example, you will have something like from Wayland, it comes as a constant of Wayland itself that you end up like, understanding it in your own programming world and how it should be inferred, right? So there would be a, oh, no, that's a WhatsApp notification. My Slack notification is off on weekends. So yeah, that's just for my own piece. Yeah, right. Like over here, as you can also see, they have a backend Wayland.cpp where they handle a lot of probably communications, right? As you can see, like there are a lot of keys that they're handling, right? Which just makes it obvious that okay, they are basically taking it in from the user and then like passing it on to Hyperland. So like one of the things was just FI like on how we will cover everything that OpenGL versus Wayland versus the user versus Hyperland, how everything is happening. So we will go through that with time, right? Anyways, this should be enough for now. I don't think this is very much relevant. Now, just FI, like on one of the very important things that I just forgot. Okay, I'm getting old. Okay, I wanted to talk about something and I forgot. Okay, I'm glad my camera is not turned on. Yeah, okay, yes, yes. Finally, I remembered. Now, there's a reason, like one of the reasons why we are talking about this. Okay, now you would be probably wondering, like I mean, of course, like they will is like probably seconds away with seeing that okay, everything is vibe coded now. You can just use AI and all. The reason we are covering up these things is point number one, we need to keep our brain active. Just go through everything that people have been doing, how these things work to also like just keep it running, keep understanding how computer science, how these all like graphical rendering everything works. Okay, that's just more like fun, right? And second point is exactly that, that you continue enjoying whatever you're doing, and uh, probably just do it for fun. Okay, what did you send? Urban platter, California almonds 1 kg. Okay. Okay. uh, okay. You are ordering this for me, or you want me to order it for you, or everyone should order it for themselves? But probably the wrong chat. Buggy. But wait, rich in fiber, rich in protein. Is it? So you're basically saying that you could use it for snacking instead of having bhujia. Is that your suggestion? Sure. Okay. All right. So, all right. How do we really start looking at the active opacity and inactive opacity, right? Now, the very first thing that we generally do is अच्छा बादाम खा के मेमोरी सही रहती है ओके यू गाइस डोंट गेट टायर्ड बाय लाइक रोस्टिंग करने से ऐसे सांस नहीं मिलती ना कि ठीक है यार एक बार फॉर 30 मिनट्स कंटिन्यूसली हम लोग कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे हम लोग अप्रिशिएट करेंगे कि बंदा ठीक है आके स्ट्रीम कर रहा है 2 किलोमीटर दौड़ने के बाद भी वो 9 बजे स्ट्रीम करना है ये सब नहीं दिख रहा है मेमोरी लॉस हो रही है उसके लिए बादाम शेयर किए जा रहे हैं वेरी नाइस ओके एनीवेज inactive we all should get for each other yeah ये लोग नहीं मानेंगे ठीक है these people will not agree that they need badam the only person who needs badam in this world is me ठीक है no for memory I think anyways yeah so quickly on this part right how are we going to continue understanding this code base is by looking at the config right as you can already see like decoration is there inactive opacity and active opacity is there now I don't probably need to teach you how to do this but just fi what I generally do is I just search for this word just and open it in quick fix list right the very first thing that you are probably searching for is a .cpp or .hpp file just use memory.md and your next comment should be that use a 1 million token model right that lasts longer भाई को push कर रहे हैं you guys are outdated if you're not using that yep I yeah I don't think I'm using it but I've been outdated for life I think I'm someone who has been outdated for quite some time though. Keep an eye on Rajasthan Royals match, guys. IPL for the win. Anyways, okay. So what I mentioned was quickly, just look at any CPP file and you will understand that okay, this decoration in active opacity and active opacity is going into a particular variable, right? Now, there's one thing that I found interesting. Uh, these all keywords, like whatever you see over here, right? This is in update decoration values, right? And they are storing it in static auto P. It's starting with P, right? Now, of course, doesn't really ring a bell so far, but we will see that, okay, this will eventually come into picture. So let's probably look at p active alpha, right? And as you can see, what it's doing over here is if m self equal to desktop focus state window, you assign it to a variable m active inactive alpha, right? And basically you're just calculating, okay, whatever p active alpha is, whatever alpha inactive value or default apply alpha, it's storing in a particular variable. Now what you can end up doing is search for this variable, right? And you would okay, no, this is from my learning, but yeah, there you go, right? So, okay, there you go. Now, if you see, the very interesting thing is it's being stored in a PHL NM variable, right? It's not really a floating pointer. It's not really something that's very obvious. That's a primitive data type as well. It is definitely a floating point, but it has a bit more than that, right? So let's go and look at this. So it's a template where they are saying it's animable. Okay, so something, so just FI, like they have a separate variable to store for animation variables. Okay, so that's what they're doing using PHL animation variable, right? Anim_var is equal to whatever C animated variable var type. And over here, if you see, it's actually inheriting from hyperutis animation C generic animated variable, and then they have this context, right? So they have a var type, which eventually we are going to pass as a floating type, right? So if you remember, we ended up renaming this as a float, right? So this var type is going it as it into eventually var type here that ends up being treated as float here, right? So this basically becomes a float, and that's what we are doing so far. And this S animation context has a very interesting thing. Okay, now this has a window reference. Okay, which window are you talking about? P workspace, P layer, and then they have a damage policy, whatever damage policy for animation do you need. Okay, now we'll touch upon this थोड़ा आगे चल के. But okay, so this is just some context in case the animation variable is related to a workspace, if it is related to a window, if it needs to be like, I'm not sure what this damage policy means. Probably they can define it somewhere. But from what I see, it's border, shadow. How do you damage the animation? Probably how do you start? I'm not sure, but okay, this is something related to an animation, how they damage the animation. Okay. Now over here, this animable is also interesting. It basically has concept to describe which type can be placed into C animated variable. This is mainly to get better errors if you put a type that's not supported. Otherwise, template errors can get ugly. Okay. So far, they have only supported four ones. I mean, vector 2D, float, C hypercolor, and that's what they're doing. Concept to describe which type can be placed into this var type so that you don't end up supporting something that's not really supported. So template errors can get ugly. So this is a really good overall code that we have seen. Okay. Now, just one question I have. Uh, do you all know like where does hyperland versus OpenGL come into this picture? Like, do you guys understand? Okay, which part of this whole pipeline, Wayland, OpenGL, hyperland is really doing the rendering or doing the calculation? So let's talk about both. First is calculation. Second is also rendering, frame rendering and all. And third is of course pushing it to the monitor where you end up seeing these things, right? Anyone wants to answer this question? Let's start with the calculation. Who is doing the calculation? Any ideas? Anyone wants to come up, speak up, be the active one here? Or do you guys want me to talk about something that's fishy, that's fun, apart from this all? How many people are on my stream right now, by the way? There it says six matching, six watching. Calculator. Okay. Okay. Yep, there you go. All right. I get that you're not interested in this topic now. No one knows, bro. Okay. But it's very interesting. Like, think about it. Who will be doing the calculation here? Is it like Wayland, which is basically a protocol? So that's definitely not Wayland, right? Now, second comes Hyperland. Hyperland does window management. OpenGL is doing rendering. Yes. Yes, there you go, right? OpenGL shaders. Now, the point is calculation is like internally done by Hyperland, and of course, a browser could also do its own. Yes, there you go, right? Almost all of you are right. in mentioning what everyone is doing, right? Now the point is, even Firefox can have its own transparency, right? Even Kitty can have its own transparency as an example, which it already has. So I'm pressing a key map right now. Now this is handled by Kitty itself. How it really handles the transparency, but what it does is it ends up giving something to Happyland that okay, my alpha, by alpha I mean what is my transparency, what is the value? Bro, your chat is lagging. I think yeah, it's possibly because it was in top chat mode. Should be fine now. I'm sorry. Okay. Should be fine now. Okay. But yeah, I mean, please let me know if I end up not focusing on anything. Right. Should be fine now. But anyway, so this is where it all comes up that even your particular window can have it. Right. So there are multiple steps here. Right. So let's probably note them down in mkdir. Probably I'll just create a stream and readme.md. Okay, so the first step is config. Now who handles this? Of course it's hyperlink. So what this basically means, whatever you have in active opacity, this is being like read by hyperlink itself. So they have their own config reader, right? Now who is tracking? Now within, if you understand, like I haven't really enabled opacity for the chat to be honest, but when you enable it, for example, when you really make it zero point 0.6, right? Now, immediately when you make it zero point 0.6, you will start seeing the difference. Now, how does that work, right? Now, this is handled by whom? Anyone wants to answer? Of course, it's also handled by Hyperland because Hyperland will know that, okay, which window is in focus right now. But this protocol, Wayland is actually going to tell Hyperland, right, that who is in focus, right? Because input events eventually are going to come by Happyland, right? When I click on a particular window, that's a tracking of focus that needs to be done by Wayland that eventually goes into Happyland. So Happyland is always going to know which one is my currently focused window, and that is going to come by Wayland protocol. Okay. Now next thing is animation, right? Now this animation is also handled by Happyland, and by animation, I mean if you see that the transition from one window to another window is also very smooth, and we're gonna touch upon that very soon. Okay, uh, so that's one thing. Uh, Probably like who creates the frame of each window, right? Now, by this frame, what I mean is think about this. It's very interesting. Okay, once you start focusing on to this becomes an even more difficult problem. Right now it sounds very simple that you're just going to apply one transparency over the top of it, but imagine if you had something where you ended up having a floating window, right? In that case, what would you do? You see this, what's happening now? Now think about it. There is not just one window behind this chat window, there are two windows. And of course, one is terminal. What's the second window? Second window is the background itself, right? And third window is, if you see the bottom way bar, right? This bottom menu bar, whatever you want to call it, this whole thing where I can click on this and all. Now, this is also one thing that this transparency needs to maintain, right? So how do you really do that is something that is also like that needs to be handled by Happyland as well. Okay, let me get it here again, right? So this is one thing. And of course, like who creates this frame can also be done by like the window itself. So Kitty can create its own frame. Kitty can decide how it will look like, how the borders and all, right? But this window is then transferred to Hyperland that okay, now I've drawn the buffer. Please go ahead and show it to the user. Now this is handled by Wayland because this is going to the user, right? So this has to happen via protocol, and this is also handled by Wayland. Okay. Now this protocol eventually just means that okay, probably they're going to call one API layer that is going to handle this transition, but it sounds very expensive, sounds very difficult, but it's not really in real life once you have some clarity. Okay. Now what's the next step, right? This the another thing is who gives some texture to the buffer. Right now overall over here, if you see like this rounding of window, right? Now this whole texture that is given to this particular buffer, that needs to be handled by a GPU rendering. Okay, now this is for of course like performance only, right? Ensuring that okay, whatever pixels that are being drawn on the window are performant. So in this case, at least Happyland uses OpenGL. Okay, or you probably, I'm not sure if you could use OpenCL as well, but for CPU, right? I hope this exists. At least from my memory, it exists. If OpenCL doesn't exist, yeah, it exists, right? That's why I was like, okay. But anyways, this OpenGL also handles this, okay, texture rendering and everything else, right? Now, of course, shaders, whatever shader that, like, as an example, you told that the particular pixel color should be zero point 0.6 out of 1, that is also handled by the shader, and this comes from OpenGL. Okay, now because these are very highly like performant operations, that means that you need to optimize for these, and when you do it on scale, like there are thousands and thousands of pixels depending on your monitor, like depending on your resolution, of course. This needs to be handled in parallel. This needs to be computationally fast. And of course, OpenGL is definitely going to be faster with this, given it uses GPU for rendering. Okay. Now, of course, like whatever mathematics that goes behind this is also handled by OpenGL. We will come to this. Some of this is also handled by Hyperland itself, right? But very minimum. Okay, not like to the scale that it can actually impact the performance. Whoever shows it on the monitor, showing it to the monitor. Now, this is handled by kernel. This is where Linux kernel also comes into place, right? And of course, like, okay, hopefully this is all I wanted to cover about. Yeah, does it help? So basically, we have a user, then we have Wayland, and then we have this compositor over here. This is Hyperland compositor as well, and this is also going to help you out. So Wayland is acting as a protocol between the client as well. So, okay, actually there should be a client here as well. Now this client and compositor interact using Wayland protocol, and that's it, right? So does it all, well, I mean, make most of the things clear? Say yes. Okay. Now there's one more important thing I wanted to show. I'm not sure if I had it here. Yeah, there you go, right? Now, one thing is for sure, like what happens when you assign it to something, right? As an example, if I'm just saying, okay, I am sure that, okay, I want to assign this with 0.6f, right? Now, what does it really mean? What happens after I've told it that, okay, my current Windows opacity is zero point 0.6, what next, right? So when you go to the definition of it, it's very interesting. um, it's not very clear so far, but what I will do is I'll go over here, and if you see, they have a C generic animated variable, right? Let me just go back here. This C animated variable is coming from a base class, that's C generic animated variable, and when you go to this particular variable, you end up seeing this is a generic class for variables in a hyperline. That struct would contain a reference to window, workspace, or layer, for example, right? Let me actually reduce the transparency of Kitty itself. Now, by the way, this was a transparency that was handled by Kitty, transferred to a hyperline to just as an FI that this is my transparency of the current window I want, right? Now, over here, one thing if you would see, okay, this create function can be ignored for now. One thing that's going to come up to you that is very interesting is this operator equal to. Now, this is an override. Okay, we are in a, okay, this is okay. So this is an override of equal to operation that they have. So what they're basically doing is whenever you assign this variable to any value, now of course this var type of, I hope you guys know the syntax of equal to override in C++, but it's very interesting, right? So they override equal to operator. Now it contains three things, okay? First is what's my goal, right? What's my goal in the animation, right? That my current goal is, of course, if you see, this is coming from V, right? So if I'm saying that, okay, when you change the focus of the window, your animation should go from, because this is 1 right now, my goal should be zero point 0.6. You guys understand what's happening? Because right now this was 1, but when I move to the chat window, the opacity, not sure how to call it, but opacity of the left window of Kitty terminal has gone down to zero point 0.6. So this is what the equal to operator is telling, that my goal is to go back to zero point 0.6, right? This is what they've done here. M begun is whatever value they had before. So M begun, probably it could be 1. As an example, I'll show you. So if I was here and I had active opacity as probably zero point 0.9, so that mean is from zero point 0.6, sorry, now this time what you're going for is zero point 0.9 to zero point 0.6, right? So this is, yes, I mean, okay, not really this, but yeah, there you go. So you will see that this is what's happening, okay? And this on animation begin is something that they are doing over here. That's something we could we will take a look now. Okay, anyways, I'll just comment out, I mean, remove the comments here. Now, what is this on animation begin? Okay, so to understand this better, what I've done is I've cloned this particular hyperutis repository for you all, and what we are looking for is on animation begin, right? There you go. Right, so this is basically a fade out, I mean fade switch, by the way. So when you see, when you go from one tab to another, there's some fade into it, right? And that's what's being applied right now. So as you can see, what this does is it says it's a callback, right? Whenever the animation begins, do this for me, right? It says if f begin callback, if the callback has begun, in that case, what you do is yeah, there you go, right? So it just basically calls that particular function, that's it, right? Now, you don't need to go too much into detail, but there's an animation manager in Hyperland that handles this, right? So I'm not sure if there's a tick I can go through. Mm, I think this is, yeah, there you go, right? So, okay, no, not this one. Mm, schedule tick. Yeah, there you go, right? So in the animation manager in this Hyperland whole window manager probably is a configure. I mean, it's it's just more than a window manager here, right? So what you have is a tick function, which basically every 1 millisecond it's going to start some animation. Now what that basically does is, so what this basically does, it starts the animation every 1 millisecond without that particular window deciding when the animation should start, because there's not just one animation in Happyland, right? There could be multiple animations. So you need an animation manager that takes care of all the animations at once. You don't want multiple animations to happen in your particular window at once, right? So you would want them to be concurrent in nature. And this is what this basically does. It says that, okay, I'm going to call this, I will see. We'll see how often is this called. I think somewhere they have this, uh, should tick for next. Yeah, so probably I'm not sure how they're handling this, but let me see if they have somewhere 1,000 written or something. Yeah, so they should have some 1,000 nanoseconds or something. I'm not sure. Microseconds could be. But anyway, so this is what it does. Should tick for next. If the animation manager says that yes, I should tick the particular animation, then it goes to tick function. In this case, it goes through all the animated variables at once, and then it understands if the particular animated variable is being animated already. In that case, you just go ahead and continue. I'm not sure what this PAV is, probably some lock, we'll have to see. Um, okay, so it's the particular variable. Okay, so PAV here is the variable you have, right? And if it is valid, or if it's not a null pointer and it's being animated already, okay, if it is not being animated already, in that case, you continue, okay? Otherwise, you start animating that, right? If I understand correctly. So get your point. Okay. Yeah, this is probably just animation mathematics they have done here, right? So they are assigning something to that particular AV int animated variable, right? And they're getting variable value into int. Okay, if the AV type is an integer, I don't think it's an integer. So in this case, they are going on update, what you should do. So if it has being animated and update fallback, then you call the fallback function. Okay, sounds good. So basically, they're going to call the fallback function if I'm not wrong, because I don't see the type. It's only int over here. It's a test type. I think they're doing it for testing. I'm not sure. And they have default. What are we even doing? Probably I'm missing something out here. That's for sure. Get person, get busier, whatever. Let's try calling this. Okay. Cloud. Let's ask Cloud over here for this. Is it too boring for you all? By the way, are you guys enjoying or not? Let me know. So let's pass this. Okay, I can probably do this. Okay, no, why we, yep, there you go, right? So I can probably do this. How is animation variable for opacity handled here? How often is tick called? Where is the reference? Yeah, let's see. Right, so hopefully I'm not really. finished all my tokens. Hopefully it's getting interesting for you all. If not, let me know. We will see what we can do. As someone who has used WebGL 3JS, this is interesting, is it? Are you like still actively doing uh, front-end programming, by the way? Usage reset 12:30 a.m. Hearing words like performance is new to me though. Yeah, I mean, I understand, right? Like, and this is where, okay, just quickly. So this file doesn't handle opacity. It's the library's test file and only. Oh, okay. I'm in the wrong file, is it? Which file am I at right now? Oh, animation. No. Oh, it's a test file. Come on. Okay. So this file doesn't handle opacity. Okay. How often tick is called? To library doesn't drive ticking itself. The consumer does. In this test, ticking is pumped manually in a busy loop. No timer, no frame. Okay. You're still doing front end. Okay, nice. Yeah, okay. Probably look at, okay, mm, documents, projects, hyperlink, and then find the real code reference. Yeah, okay. So this was, I was looking at the wrong file, which makes sense. So let's go here. Yeah, I think it should be here now, right? But where is the tick definition though? Right, that's what I'm looking for. So let's see if it's able to tell me that, then we can go ahead and do it. The interesting part, of course, is something like, how is the calculation done? Probably we can touch upon it, I mean, on it later once we figure out where's the real stuff happening. Did you know that you can drop image files into terminal? Okay. Yeah, I did not know. And guys, if you're new to this channel, by the way, please don't mind subscribing. Uh, I've been up and down from 1.45K. I don't think I'll ever reach to 1.5. I've had -4 subscribers in the last 28 days, so that's a good progress. Not something I'm proud about, but yeah, I understand where it's coming from. So opacity is equal to m alpha, and a-var type float. Each surface owns and creates its own constructor, which we understand. So by surface, basically think about a glass sheet coming on a table, top, right? So this is each surface. Now each surface window, they have this own create animation, fade in, fade layers in, fade pop-ups in, whatever, config swaps, the float case in tick, same switch, patterns in the test. Okay, so this is probably in animation manager.cpp. Okay, what are you suggesting? 267 is it? We don't even have, am I looking at the wrong? Yeah, probably I need to go to Happyland instead because sounds like, okay, so I can do tab new and I can do CD, documents, projects, Hyperland, and I can do animation manager. Yep, there you go, right? So I can do 287 or whatever. Yep, there you go. So now let's search for tech here. Maybe they have it here. Yeah, so they do have animation manager. There you go, right? So they have a tick here. Probably, yes, there you go, right? So this is what I'm looking for. Yep, there you go. So last tick is what here? Last tick milliseconds, and there you go, right? It's converting it into a millisecond. Last tick is this. Now you have it here. So you basically, okay, animations enabled, true or false. If animations are not enabled, you do tick done and return. So basically you don't perform any tick operation if the animations are not enabled. Now you have an active enabled variables, animated variables. In this case, batch damage per owner to avoid redundant damage calls. Otherwise, we should be damaging many times too much. They have owners, collect per owner damage policy. I think this is something we saw that, okay, each one can have their own damage policy. Sounds like something they're just tracking over here. Pre-damage each owner once. Update all variable values. There you go, right? So this is where they're handling float. Ta-da! Nice, right? So, okay, when sometimes when you're looking at the code, it's highly possible that you will end up seeing the code that's not relevant to your question. So my thing is I avoid looking at it. For example, here, I could have easily diverted myself to the damage policy. What does it really mean? But I don't really care about it right now. right? We can come back to it later. So when you're reading the code, look at the particular answer you want to get and get away from it, right? And this is something you have to do when you read research papers as well. There are terminologies that you will never understand, but you should go and continue and finish the paper once, note down all the things that you want to follow up on, and do it towards the end of the paper when you're done. Okay, you have the p-typed animated variable. You get the value from here, you convert into a p-type. Okay, you get, so basically you are trying to typecast it to animated variable, whatever. Okay, it's all good. So you do fail to upcast animated float. Handle update is where they are handling the update of the particular variable. Right now, this is getting interesting. So you have animations disabled warp. I think animation is disabled over here. This should be, yeah, there you go, right? So this would ideally be here. It would be false because of the value we have in our config, right? So let's go to handle update. So animations disabled is false. That means we want to go through it. You are going through each window. You're getting the lock of it. See, when you're changing the particular window, what you would want to do is you would want to get the control of it while you're doing something on the top of it, right? You would not want someone else to continue doing something while you are also animating it, right? So I think in that case, it makes sense for it to be, um, it to respect threads, it to respect workers, avoid an erase condition. All right, so spent is get percent, J animation get piece here. Okay, this all I don't think I'm very interested about. Over here, this was not of type C hypercolor. So in that case, we do know that it's updating variable var type AV, pointy, and warp, right? So that's it, right? That's all I care about, which basically means they are doing some calculation here. See, if you guys remember, I told you that const alto delta here would be zero point 0.6 minus 1.0. In this case, this would end up, I hope it's okay for it to be negative, and this AV dot value would become AV dot begin, which was 1.0 plus, which is minus zero point 0.4 into pointy, which probably sounds like it should be 1 right now because where's pointy coming from, but at least this will end up becoming zero point 0.6, which basically means how it should be, how much value should it get, right? So it should be fine. And the reason this is working this way, I'll tell you why. It's very important. Right now we are only considering one window, but when you have one window on the top of another window, this whole calculation becomes this begun. See, I'll tell you, right? So let me start with this example. I could probably put some debug statements for you all to also take a look, but just one second. Now over here, when you would try to make this particular window transparent, this is a chat window, right? The begin will not be, let's do this. Let's make this transparent, right? So the window behind, let's say, is zero point 0.2 opacity, right? So the begin is not anymore 1.0. It probably is zero point 0.2, at least per my understanding. I could be wrong, but it will never be 1.0 again because you are trying to put something on the top of a window that already is transparent, right? So this is how it should ideally work if I'm not wrong, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, they should help overall. Okay. Overall, is it helpful, everyone? Any any feedback? We can take a quick break. Anyone say yay? Nice. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, I get tired talking a lot as well. There's one thing I wanted to touch upon is a pass element they have. So they have this thing, surface pass element, and this is a very interesting concept. Okay, let me just fix the transparency for you all. Yeah, there you go, right? So this is my window, by the way. This is a markdown file I created to ensure that I don't forget the notes. And of course, this is made by Cloud. So rendering on the monitor, the math. So this is what I wanted to check as well, how this is done. So the entire monitor frame is built on a sequence of pass elements. It's a surface pass element, text pass element, rectangle pass element, shadow pass element. Uh, this is a text pass element, not text pass element. This is a texture. If you want to draw a texture, you would call text pass element. If you want to draw a rectangle on the top of your current window, right? Shadow pass element for cloud code, yeah, not cloud code, sorry. The end-to-end flow for a frame on a monitor is render monitor, begin render, binds the monitor's output frame buffer plus render workspace. Um, Probably we could go here and understand, but I'm not sure if that's very interesting. I'm sorry, I keep calling it cloud. It's cloud code, cloud code. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so this does look like, so you are basically ending up rendering a window with whatever monitor you have as a current monitor. Solitary client dot lock, you get the clock of it, p monitor now false, render pass main into solitary is equal to no. Okay, solitary basically means that no pop-ups. Okay, I'm not interested into this. Probably this is something that we should be looking at. Hyperlink draws every element with blending enabled in the following blend function. So this is where the OpenGL is coming up. Again, don't think this all would be very interesting right now. How much is the time? How long have we streamed? Okay, this is 50 minutes already. Let me see if I can do something interesting here. Okay, OpenGL. So since you went through, okay, thanks for asking a question. I wanted to move away from talking too much about the code as well. Since you went through Hyperland Codebase, any thoughts? I mean, at least from what I see, they have good comments. They don't have a lot and lot of comments in their code. Probably like, something you can see, okay, the variables are supposed to be uh, telling you what it means, which definitely means that a human has written this code initially when they started off, right? So this is good to see. Very happy with this as well. So yeah, I mean, overall, the philosophy seems like point number one, not have. Yeah, yeah, that's what. Like, I mean, you see, uh, like just look at this for example, right? Now, in general, any open source code will start with this. Yeah, something like this, right? And not just this, then it will tell you what is the parameters, right? And then it will tell you, okay, this DRM, yeah, there you go, right? Something like this, and then this is how it will end with a one new line over here as well. With Hyperlink, at least it's very clear that they don't care about. I think I've had many strong judgments about Hyperlink before because of course, all the noise on social media. But like looking at the code base, I'm not sure how it used to be before, but at least right now it seems like the perfect match of how you would want it to be. Not too detailed, not too verbose, but you have things where you would need to understand as well. They have good logging in place everywhere. So if I would be running Hyperland with debug mode, right, I would definitely understand what's going on. So yeah, so far so good. Really like the the overall, like just look at this file for example. This is 2589 lines of code, and this is the OpenGL.cpp file. With added comments, it would have easily become 10,000 lines of code. Like I can tell you that if you end up explaining everything in detail about each and every function, this would end up becoming a 10K file. And I don't think anyone is stopping them to make it like that, but I'm glad they did not. Yeah. Anyways, sounds good. Like I think rest of the things we can touch upon in the next stream if that's okay. In the next stream, we'll touch upon the rendering part, the mathematics of this, and we'll also see if we can add some debug logs. One thing I wanted to do always is make this transparency. Um, if I could just use my mouse wheel button to adjust the transparency of each window using this particular code base, and we'll see if we could do that in Hyperline. That would be a really good practice of understanding how the whole end-to-end workflow works. So when we do that, I'm pretty sure we will understand so much of it. For now, I think that's where I will stop. Don't want to extend the stream too much, but hope you guys liked it. Did you guys enjoy the stream? I'm sorry, I was not very confident when, like last week I wanted to talk about it, but I was not really confident. Yeah, that should be good to do. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, it goes without saying, I just want to thank you all again for all the support that you've given me. I know I've been very infrequent with my streams. I know I've not been active on Discord as well, but the way you guys keep the positive things going, I know like you guys have your own fun, and I'm really happy for you all to continue doing it, right? So thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support. Infrequent is very polite word. I've been irregular. I've been inconsistently regular. No, actually, you know what? I've been consistently irregular. Next week shows up 2 months later. Now, yeah, I don't mean to do it. The thing is, there's some pressure on me as well to give the best quality content. Like, if I fear that if I will end up streaming and I'll not talk a lot, sometimes I just want to stream and talk to you all and I don't want to code, right? I'm just afraid if people will not like it. So I wait for the time when I want to code and stream as well. So probably that's one of the reasons. Yeah, there's definitely some performance pressure you get when you stream because um what if no one shows up, right? Like what's the point of streaming in that case? Like you just start and close. It has happened to me on Twitch, but at least YouTube fortunately has been humble. Um, so yeah, it has kept me humble for sure. But yeah, anyways, probably we'll also do a Counter-Strike stream by the way one day, maybe tomorrow or something. I do play sometimes Counter-Strike, so maybe it would be fun to play. But anyways, this channel is focused for coding, so I will keep to that. When we want to have fun, we can play and just let it go. Cool. All right. I will take your leave. I think you guys can imagine me folding hands and saying thank you so much. This is something I do towards the end of the stream always. So, namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Buggy. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, John Bikaku, for coming. This was your first time. Okay, well and better. I can't. I don't know if I can play it on Linux. If I can, I would try. Um, anyways, anyone else? Yeah, WD Gaza. Thank you so much for being here. Buffet, amazing stuff, bro. Love you. Okay, sorry. Uh, Shavi, thank you so much for being here for a minute. Still a lot. EP, Masashi, thank you. I think that's Buggy, if I'm not wrong. Meow meow. Bye bye. All right, take care. Have a good night. Ta-da. Have a good night. Bye.